Hey guys, welcome to a new video. A little bit different today because I want to talk about Star Wars Outlaws, because I know a lot of you might have this on your wish list and are wondering if the game is worth your time and money. And I don't want to make this into a full review, but I want to point out a few things that I think are important to know. First of all, as a disclaimer, Ubisoft has provided me with access to this game, so thanks for this. Nevertheless, I will share my honest opinion with you about the good and the bad sides of it. I've played it during the weekend already. I've also played it on stream yesterday, so some of you might have seen this already. But if you don't know what's going on at all in the game, I'm gonna give you a short introduction. So you play as Kay Vess, who is a scoundrel with a cute little pet called Nix, and the two are trying to make ends meet by doing small jobs in the underground of Canto Bight. But things go a little sideways when one of those jobs goes wrong, and now you not only need to leave the city but the whole planet. And this will set you onto a journey through the underground worlds of 4 different planets, where you complete contracts for 4 different syndicates to earn reputation. And on the side you need to assemble a crew of experts to pull the biggest heist in history. So far, nothing that is really surprising, but it's a solid story that comes with some interesting twists and turns. And when you solely stick to this story and only complete the main quests that are around it, you can beat this game in about 15 hours. Maybe depending on your difficulty level, you need 20 hours, but you definitely don't need more. If you do the side quests as well, and maybe you even want to go for completionist, I think for completionist you should be around 50 hours, but if you only do the main and side quests and stick to that, you should be good with around 30 hours. So you can spend some time in this game if you want to, but the question is if you do really want to spend that much time in the game. But let's have a look at it. So what I do like about it, because I want to start this on a positive note, is the overall atmosphere, especially in the cities or when doing missions in space stations or lost ships. The atmosphere is really good and the game looks beautiful. So they definitely nailed this. I also like the 2 main characters, Kay and Nix, because they work so well together throughout their journey, and Nix is pretty cute, not gonna lie. And for my liking, Kay also has a very good personality that seems very natural, which I think is important, especially these days, because it comes without this overly strong female feminist personality that we see so much in games and movies these days, and that often feels a bit out of place. So for my liking at least, Kay doesn't have any of this, and her personality really feels natural to me. The other characters, on the other hand, that you meet along the way, even the ones you frequently work with and talk to, lack a distinct personality, for me at least, and it's often hard to remember who the hell they actually are when you just hear their names and you talk about them with someone else. And with this, we're going straight into why I don't think the game is worth the price it has, like I said in the title. Even though it has this good atmosphere that saves a lot for me, it doesn't really stand out and doesn't really have anything unique. Quite the opposite. It feels like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and maybe a little bit of GTA had a baby and then sent it out into the galaxy. Ubisoft did really recycle a lot of the gameplay mechanics from the other franchises here, and especially in the first few hours where you get introduced to the game and its mechanics, there were so many times when I thought, oh yeah, this gameplay mechanics taken from this game and this gameplay mechanics taken from this other game. And on one hand, it makes it easily accessible because you are familiar with all of these mechanics already, but on the other hand, it feels like recycled material but in a new setting. And what I'm especially on the fence with is this huge amount of stealth gameplay. I thought it would be more 50-50, like Far Cry for example, and that you can decide for yourself what kind of playstyle you prefer, and if you want to be all sneaky or if you want to go in guns blazing. But most of the time, and especially in the main story missions, you don't have this choice. You need to do stealth gameplay if you want it or not, and there is no option for a gunfight. at least most of the time, because when you get caught, it instantly results in mission failure. And depending on the last checkpoint you have passed, you might have to start again 15 minutes ago, which can be really annoying, especially on missions that can last for 1 hour or longer. And what makes this even worse is that the enemy AI is so inconsistent. Sometimes they spot you or get alerted and you didn't even make a move or a noise or anything, and on other occasions you can walk straight past them unnoticed, or take out someone right next to them and they won't even turn around as if you're not existing. And even if you are allowed to fire, which is mainly in the side quests, you always only have one gun, your blaster. You cannot equip any other weapons, or at least not permanently. You can pick up weapons from dead enemies, but as soon as Kay needs to interact with the environment, and here it's enough to simply use a ladder to get somewhere that is above or below you, she drops them. She drops the weapons. You can upgrade your blaster though. There are 3 different fire modes that are used for different situations, and then you can upgrade these fire modes along the way, but it's still the same gun. And then there's also the inconsistency in gunfights versus stealth, because with your blaster, most enemies need 3 or more hits to the head to kill them, and when you are in stealth, it's enough to slightly touch their helmets to knock them out. So it's just weird. I don't know, it looks strange and it seems off. Plus, this mission design and combat system gets old pretty fast. 90% of the missions are kept in the same way. Sneak in, do not alert anyone, steal something, sneak out and bring it to someone. And sometimes you're even allowed to fire your weapon. And this, combined with the flaws that I mentioned before, really takes a lot of fun from this game, at least for me. What I do like though is how you can use Nyx and his abilities in stealth combat or for stealing stuff, because you can send him out to distract enemies or attack them or open doors for you or fetch an object you need and so on. And this playing around with Nyx and the interaction between Kay and Nyx really saves the game for me somehow. So the atmosphere is good, the 2 main characters and the main storyline as well. The open world is alright, the main cities are made pretty well, but everything around them feels a bit like fluff to extend the gameplay by riding around on your speeder, and it can be hard to find where you actually have to go sometimes. The combat and stealth missions feel recycled and repetitive. I think I've talked about this enough, and flying around in space doesn't offer too much as well, except for a few cargo boxes that you can open and get material from. But the controls and dogfights are surprisingly good, so that's on a positive note, at least when playing with a controller. Not gonna lie, that ship that you have is surprisingly nimble and I had some fun out there. What's worth mentioning as well is that the game has upgrades for Nyx and also for your character, but you can only unlock them by finding so-called experts and then complete assignments for them, and then you can learn new skills. But there is no classic skill tree where you can simply spend points on. Performance-wise, I hadn't had any problems playing on Xbox Series X. There were no glitches or bugs like I've seen on some PC gameplay, but you definitely have to play in performance mode, because this is the only one with 60 FPS. Quality mode only has 30 FPS, and this is an absolute torture for your eyes. There's a favor quality mode that has 40 FPS and is kind of a middle way between the 2 modes, but then again, performance mode doesn't look much worse than quality or favor quality, so I would always prefer higher FPS. And I don't know why 30 FPS are still acceptable on consoles these days. Overall, the game is a 6.5 out of 10 for me. It is worth playing if you are into Star Wars and you just want to experience the story, but I would not pay the full price for it. So if you don't want to wait for a massive discount that might not come too soon, what I would recommend to do is to subscribe to Ubisoft Plus for a month. That will cost you $18, and this will give you access to the Ultimate Edition of the game. And 1 month is definitely enough to play through this game and maybe even play another 1 or 2 from the service. So I think this is definitely the better option here. If you do like it, you play it for $18, and if you don't like it, it wasn't too heavy on your wallet. And yeah, that was it for today. Tell me what you think about the game from what you've seen so far, or maybe if you've played it already. And if you enjoyed the video and want to stay tuned for more content like this, drop a like and subscribe. Until then, thanks for watching. I'm Catwoman, and you are awesome.